Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system, and frankly, screw that. I'm sick of it, and it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take a measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked to the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking to Kaleena, who is a family nurse practitioner. Currently, she is working PRN at the hospital doing some pediatric cardiology. Kaleena also owns a breastfeeding and lactation clinic that is going well. Currently, she is stuck in not knowing where to go next with her business. She is needing assistance with growing her current practice and is also needing guidance on starting another clinic, which she wants to open up a men's health clinic. Hey, Kaleena, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for hopping on here. Just bring us up to speed with where you're at. Tell us about your experience as a nurse practitioner and kind of just how you got started with your business.
Sure. So I've been a nurse for probably like 12 years or so, and a nurse practitioner for 5 or 6. My first job as an NP was in a pediatric cardiology clinic, and I've done that full time until recently. I opened a breastfeeding clinic during COVID when a lot of the local hospitals' lactation clinics shut down. And people were needing help. And so I have a few lactation consultants that work for me. And we opened our location a year ago and just had our year anniversary. And things are going pretty well, I think, for the first year of a business, but wondering where to go next.
Yeah, cool deal. So this is an insurance accepting practice, I'm assuming?
It is, yep.
Okay. And do you mind telling us a little bit about, maybe your revenue and stuff? Like how well are you doing?
Yeah, so we see about 50 to 60 patient visits a month, and we're making anywhere from 10 to 20K, just kind of depending on the month and insurance.
That's gross revenue?
Yes. And then I have rent and a few 1099 contractors. So probably like 5 or so thousand in expenses a month, I'd say.
So you're making anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000 a month in profit that you pay yourself?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It just is like a lot of the profit stays I guess, I end up doing more marketing or something else, I guess it's not all profit either. Probably I feel like I only end up with like 5 to 10 a month.
Right. Profit though.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, still, it's pretty good. It's not that bad. How many hours do you put into this?
I work in it just during school hours about 3 days a week. So probably about 15 hours a week, 15 to 20.
Gotcha. 15 to 20 hours a week, and you're making $10,000 a month. That's pretty good. I think you're doing pretty good. So I guess your question is how do you grow this thing?
Yeah. So it feels like we've kind of like maximized. We're the only outpatient lactation clinic in our town, and the rest of the options are hospitals or people that come to your house. And so I feel like we've captured whatever of the market there is. There's just only so many people having babies and needing help at any given time. And it's a very short-term relationship we have. Like we really only see people 1 to at most maybe 5 times, but for the majority of times, it's only like 1 to 2 appointments per patient.
So it's not really a recurrent thing. I mean, it's more of a
Yeah.
treat and street kind of a thing.
Yeah, and people only have babies once every couple years. So even if like you always have to find new business, make sure that people that are having babies know that we exist and kind of like build our name. But at the same time, there's still only a maximal number of people that you could ever have.
Right. Yeah, this is the issue with these kinds of practices. No, I mean, not just a lactation breastfeeding clinic, but just like this kind of practice model, like a sick visit kind of a thing. It's very similar. Like you typically only see the patient once or twice, then that's it. So
Hmm.
there's really not that recurrent income. Like it's you're always needing new business.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
tried to do a few other things. Like we have a mom's group, and we make a tiny bit of income from that. And I've tried to branch out into like maternal mental health and prescribing for just like postpartum mood disorders, but it's just
Not
slower
really.
growing than the lactation was.
Yeah, it's not really gaining traction. So you have two options here. You either provide additional services that are on a more current thing. You basically increase the long-term value of the current patient. Like you just
Hmm.
increase the overall value that they provide the practice in which you provide them. So additional services, basically, additional things that you can charge for. You venture out and start getting business elsewhere. I mean, those are pretty much your two options. So let's kind of just go through each option you got here. So additional services. What things do you think might work? I know you said you're already kind of doing a few things, maybe like postpartum depression treatment, little mom's group or something. I mean, is there anything else that you could do? Is there any way to enhance lactation? Maybe some sort of vitamins or something, or, any other medications you could prescribe or anything else? I mean, I'm sure you've thought about this.
Yeah, there's not a lot that I believe in, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
To the degree that I would want to like sell it out of our practice, and then we're insurance based. So that's also a little bit of a challenge with some things. I mean, I love this clinic. I have a lot of passion towards this, but I'm okay with kind of leaving it as my passion project that makes enough money to keep it rolling, and then doing something else as more of a financial security building project.
Sure. Financial security projects. So let's think about this real quick. I mean, you're always going to have business with this.
Hmm.
So it
Yeah,
is
I hope so.
it's pretty safe. I mean, I feel like this would be a lot safer than a cash practice, especially since you've already built it. Because I
Oh, okay.
mean, this is pretty much a medical necessity for the most part for a lot of women. And so, I mean, people are always going to continue to have babies. Like this is just, you're always going to have business. It doesn't matter if there's a recession, a depression, a boom, like it makes no difference. You'll always have business, right? So don't just push this off that it's not going to build your financial security and freedom and stuff. Because I mean, it definitely is going to be a piece of that. So,
Hmm.
with that said, I think that maybe another option you could do is start expanding out to other towns, cities, hospital systems, whatever, and basically implement the exact model you have into those places. So hiring other RNs or whatever to be teaching the patients, you doing your initial evaluation, whatever it is that you do, I think that you can just copy and paste this into another area. You should be able to do that relatively easy, I would think.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know why I hadn't really thought of that, except for we're kind of in a town that's like pretty isolated from other towns. Like I'd need to go a couple hours away, but if someone else is doing most of the work, then that's doable. And a lot of it can be virtual now too. I mean, there's still the hands-on component, but
Right.
yeah, it would be really easy to duplicate because I've already done all the hard stuff. I mean, starting a business is hard, but
Right.
now most of that's done.
Right, right. Like once the business is started, it's a piece of cake to replicate it. I mean, there's nothing to it. I could start another men's health clinic in 2 weeks if I wanted to. Like I could just go somewhere and open it up and in 2 weeks be open. You know what I mean? Once you do it once, it's not that hard to do it again.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't have to like learn all the new. I mean, in some ways starting something totally new that's cash based is a little bit scary too, because there's just a whole nother learning curve.
Right, right, right. Well, I mean, I think that you should definitely have another income stream. I think you should definitely start another business. I think it's smart. While having one business is great, and almost, any nurse practitioner listening to this right now should start their own business, even if it's a little side hustle, you only do 10 hours a week. I mean, you should have that at least, and then a job or whatever. But you should really strive for multiple businesses. I mean, I will always have at least two businesses at all times. I will never settle on just one business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an additional income stream. It just makes you financially redundant. Like you want to be
Hmm.
as redundant as possible. You want to have as many income streams as possible because if one income stream dries up, you have another income stream right there to replace it or to keep you sustained until you can develop another one.
Yeah, I've heard
So,
you say that. And that's why, like, once I cut back at my hospital job, I was working full time until just recently. Then I think that's when I've kind of had this insecurity feeling of like, okay, what's next? Like, I need to
right,
make sure that there's something else
right.
and that this isn't all there is.
That makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I think that is a healthy anxiety to have. Okay. It is like that's a healthy anxiety to have. I think people start running into issues when they become content, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get content at some point, once you have a few income streams coming in. At that point, you can be content. I'm content right now. But like if you're just relying on this one income stream for the most part, then yeah, I think you have a healthy anxiety over it. So I think that you could make the current income stream a lot stronger by venturing out somewhere else. I think you should make that a priority. I think you should do a little bit of research just in your state within the 4 to 6 hour drive of you and see if you can begin expanding out elsewhere, hire an RN to be kind of like the boots on the ground kind of person. You could maybe do like some telemed consults or whatever. They could be the one, doing the hands-on stuff. You're already credentialed. So, I mean, it's just essentially just billing through the system that you already have. Like this would be a piece of cake.
It's a great
Just,
idea.
yeah, it's just getting in there and getting someone to help you out with it. So,
Yeah. Finding the
yeah,
right people.
exactly. So I think you should make this a priority. I think you should strengthen the current income stream that you have. In a way, you're building another business in a business. So you're not relying on just your area. Now you have another area to back you up. And then from there, you can open up another one and another one. You can make it into a very, very large business with multiple offices, with multiple locations. So
Cool.
I would definitely
Yeah.
maybe look into that. I think that's a good idea. In terms of the other business, so you said you're interested in starting a men's health clinic on top of this?
I mean, I've listened to your podcast, I've taken your men's health course, and it seems like something that's pretty doable. And the area I was looking at, I don't know why I've targeted this area a couple hours, maybe like 2 hours away from me, because a lot of people have moved there from California or bigger cities, and it's really growing a lot and has a lot of money. And so I thought this would be a great place to go with it. And I've tried to look for a space for the last like 4 months, and there's just nothing. And I think it's probably because the area has grown so much, but there's no commercial space really that I can find. And so I just kind of keep looking, but I'm sort of stuck, I feel like.
Well, have you actually drove up there and like drove around and looked?
Yeah. And like called people and all the things. And sometimes you have to pester people on commercial space for a long time because they don't really seem to want to sell it or lease it. So I mean, I'm working on it slowly, but I'm kind of wondering if it's a bad idea to like try to find a little space to sublease from someone in like a gym or a physical therapy clinic or like something kind of, not like a med spa, because I feel like that's the opposite population that I'm going for, but
Right.
within my own space.
I bet there's a space there somewhere you're just not seeing it. Have you looked on Craigslist,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook
Yeah.
Marketplace and stuff, and nothing is on there?
Nothing that I think is doable.
So it's doable. Like, what do you think's doable? Like, what do you think you need for this? Because you don't need much.
I think I need like 600 to 1,500 square feet in some sort of office. Like I would like a waiting area and then like a separate room
Mm-hmm.
and maybe like a closet. I don't feel like I need a bathroom. I don't feel like I need much to it, but a lot of places that are available are like big storage facilities and stuff looking like they're not office buildings.
Right. There's not a 500 square foot office for lease in this town somewhere.
I know. It's not like, and I'm like, is it just because I'm not there? Am I not like getting it? Maybe I need to be more up there to figure this out.
Yeah, there's got to be an office somewhere. I mean, surely to God, there's an office somewhere. There's got to be. Yeah, I mean,
You think 500 is good enough?
that's fine. It's all you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need much more than that. Not for just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
Most is going to be telemed anyway. So, I mean, having the office there is important. Allows you to have your Google business listing and allows you to actually have a physical presence there. And plus, you can get like some roadside sign frontage or whatever. That works really good as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's definitely benefits. I mean, I think the hybrid practice is one of the best models there are. I really do. I think having both a physical presence and also having some telemedicine capabilities, having a hybrid model is the best model. I mean, telemedicine only works great. Brick and mortar only works great. But I think a hybrid of both works the best. I don't know why you're having such a hang up here finding a spot. There's got to be a place up there. I have a hard time believing there's nothing there. It might not be ideal, but whatever, as long as it works. When I started my second men's health practice, I had a difficult time finding like what I wanted, like what I dreamed of, what what I had this idea, that I wanted to implement, and it was hard to find that perfect space. And I eventually just had to settle on a office that's kind of a little bit tucked away in like a medical office complex kind of a place. And we're still there today, a couple years later. So it was a little bit slower getting the traction, but now that we've been there for a couple years, it's gained plenty of traction. We're pretty much good to go now. So I mean, don't look for the perfect office if there isn't one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think after you've had one place, then you get a little more picky for some reason.
You can, absolutely. But for this though, for a men's health clinic, it doesn't have to be fantastic. Okay. It really doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it really doesn't. But this town that you want to start this in, it sounds pretty ideal though. I mean, it's rapidly growing, people with money there. It sounds pretty perfect. Is there any competition?
No.
Okay.
There's only virtual competition.
Well, that's anywhere. Well, it sounds like you got a perfect opportunity here. I mean, if there's no competition, I mean, you're sitting on a gold mine. And that's not just with men's health. I mean, that's really with any kind of niche. I mean, if there's no competition in the area, you're sitting on a gold mine. I mean, you really are. Now you just have to figure out a way to, to extract the gold now. So
yeah. I think my other hesitancy, and maybe this is just being a female working in a women's health-based clinic, but like is going into men's health and being a woman. Do you have any feedback on that, or do you know other women in men's health that do okay?
Well, I employ a female nurse practitioner at my men's health clinic, so there's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, they just want treatment. They really don't care who's giving it to them. A lot of guys actually prefer women. They feel like they can open up to a woman a lot more than they can with a man. They can really talk to you about some other issues they might be having that they might not feel comfortable talking to me about, and vice versa. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah. If you could have a male medical assistant or receptionist or whatever, now you have the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And how have you found your MAs and such? Like, where do you post your job at?
Posting ads on Indeed, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to find one. I mean, you might have to go through quite a few until you find the right one, but it's really not terribly difficult. And if you're paying them at a decent rate starting out, I mean, you'll get some, good quality candidates.
Yeah.
If you, starting off at $12 an hour, don't really expect much. I mean, they can make just as much over at McDonald's. They'll probably make more.
I mean, they'll be the ones on site more than me. So I want them to have some sort of investment and hopefully do a good job in it. So
exactly. Like I mentioned in the course, you pay them and treat them well, they're going to treat you well. So, start them off at 18 to 20 bucks an hour. It might sound like a lot of money, but trust me, it's really not that much money once you start generating some income.
Yeah. I haven't had like a real employee yet. And so I think that's a little bit intimidating figuring out all that, but
it's just one employee.
There's people. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. There's nothing to it. Just put them on payroll, start paying them. That's pretty much it. Train them what you want them to do, So I think that's probably a good idea. You're sitting on a good position here. And then this could also be, what about lactation specialists in there? Could you pivot and expand, both businesses in this area?
Yeah, I've kind of thought about that. There's a little more lactation competition in that area than there is men's health for sure, but still not very much. And so, especially if there's younger families moving there, that if they're seeing an increase in their births, they might be seeing an increase in their lactation needs.
There you go. It's worth to explore.
Yeah. And if I make it less pink than my current location, I think it could probably go either way if I made it more muted tones and not so feminine based.
All right. So explore that option too. I mean, it'd be great to have two businesses there, then it'd really make it worth your while. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if there's no men's health clinic there, I say get started doing it. I think you'd be foolish not to take advantage of that. I mean, are there other services there too, like weight loss clinics or anything?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of kind of like alternative medicine, naturopaths, med spas. There's just no men's health is the only thing I've found that there really is nothing of.
Gotcha. Well, you better start one before someone else does.
I know I'm trying, but then I get discouraged when there's not a place and then I start to slow down on my progress, but
right.
I'll get back to it.
Yeah. You're going to regret it. I'm telling you, you will.
I know. As soon as I see someone else's sign.
Yeah. You're going to be like, damn it. I should have done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had those regrets before too. I'm like, I should have started that business. And someone came in and did it and they're killing it. You're like, man, that could have been me. So I'd say just find a place, get a place.
Anything.
Just anything. Just get going. Don't allow one little speed bump to stop you from this, I mean, if that's your biggest hang up, I mean, don't. If you want it, you'll find a way. You know what I mean? Like if you truly want this to happen, you're going to find a way. I mean, if you say that you can't do it, then you're right, you can't do it. But I mean, that's just the mindset. If you can't do it, then you can't do it. But say, yes, I can do it. Get in here, find a place and get that thing open up.
Yeah.
So I think that if you just do a little bit more due diligence, I bet you could find a place and then you can get started and start making some, really decent money.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have any other hangups or any other questions about the men's health?
I don't think so. The course was really good. I feel like it set me up for most everything.
Okay. So then what have you thought about in terms of like what services you're going to offer or how you're going to market it, that kind of thing?
I like to start small. And so I was going to do like pretty much just testosterone to start.
Okay.
And then hopefully as I get more comfortable, expand into more like erectile dysfunction and such. But I know then it sounds like sometimes they go together and you end up doing more than you had planned on initially. So I was thinking about taking the advanced course just so that I'm prepared when that situation arises.
Yeah, if I was you, I would take the advanced course as well and just make this a full scale, robust men's health clinic.
Okay.
Just right from the get go. It all complements each other. It's all very easy to learn. All right.
Okay.
You need to offer ED treatment as well on top of the testosterone. You also need to offer peptides, growth hormone optimization. You really need to offer those things as well. Trust me.
I guess I'm feeling a little bit intimidated by jumping into a business where I'm interpreting labs of something I've never done before.
Oh, it's so easy. It's so easy. All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all elite nurse practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and then other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. I mean, you know how to look over some basic labs, right? Like, CBCs and CMPs, and you know how to interpret these basic labs, right?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of interpreting the testosterone and the estrogen, just follow the course. There's nothing to it. Remember, all testosterone replacement therapy is you are just basically giving the person more testosterone, and then you are monitoring their lab work to ensure that it does not go over the top of the normal range, and you ensure that they don't have any side effects. PSA stays normal, hematocrit stays normal, and they're feeling better. Like, that's literally it. There's nothing to it. It's super simple. I'm telling you, like, managing diabetes is 10 times as complicated as men's health.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a finesse to it too. There's a bit of an art of like knowing when they'll need an aromatase inhibitor and stuff. And like, you just have to do it for a bit before you become.
Right. It's just like anything else. And so you start practicing it. You start just kind of getting into it. And, within 3 to 6 months, you're like, man, this is super simple. There's nothing to it. And, you know what I mean? Like, you find your pace with it. You figure it out. It's really not that difficult.
Okay.
And so, all the parameters I give you in the course and, the treatment recommendations, the dosage recommendations, like that should work 80 to 90% of the time. Then the other 10 to 20% of the time is adjusting some doses. Maybe some people need it more frequently, less frequently, higher doses of this or that. Those are the things that you learn as you begin to do it. But the beautiful thing about it is that it's safe still as you readjust and as you learn. There's really nothing to worry about. You're not going to kill someone giving them a little too much of an aromatase inhibitor or underdosing them with some testosterone. Like, it's safe,
Okay.
It's not like, oh crap, I overdosed this person on insulin. Now they're in a coma in the ER. Like, that's not going to happen with this. That's the beautiful thing about it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Okay. I'm a worrier about these sorts of things. But...
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should be worried about it. I mean, you want to provide safe care, but the beautiful thing about it is that, you'd have to just be grossly negligent with it to cause a problem.
Yeah. Right.
So, don't put someone on 10 milligrams of an aromatase inhibitor daily, for example. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
And then as far as marketing, I was thinking, it sounds like virtual marketing is a little bit less easy in this sort of practice than it is in my current practice, where I do a lot of Instagram and Facebook and Google ads and things. But there's a lot of like community magazines up there, and it seems a lot more word of mouth based. There's a ski mountain, and so they have events and things that are sponsored by different businesses in the community. So trying to get more into the local scene, I guess, is how I was planning on marketing it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Men's health and some niche services, like you said, are very, very difficult to advertise online. Hormone replacement therapy, aesthetics, weight loss, these things tend to be difficult sometimes to get ads approved. I have probably gotten more results out of local advertising than I have digital advertising with my men's health clinic.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Radio bars and restaurants and things like that.
exactly. It works fantastic. Or like a billboard. You throw one billboard in this town on the main road, you probably kill it, Because, you gotta remember, a lot of these guys are between the ages of 35 and 55. They are not sitting there on social media scrolling through their phone on the couch. They're just not, especially the older ones. They're not doing that. So like the ads can fall on blind eyes, basically. Like, even if you do get an ad approved, it might work or it might not. It really just depends on the local market. Some people do really, really well advertising on social media with men's health, and some people don't. I haven't had a tremendous amount of success with it personally. Google ads, I do have success with, though. Google search ads.
Okay.
So don't discount those. Those really, really work very well if you can make sure you identify the keywords appropriately for the search phrase.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it's a good idea. I think doing some more local advertising is a good starting place. And you don't want to get too busy too fast either, right?
No.
So take your time with it. You're in no rush.
Right. Yeah. Other than hiring an MA who's sitting there doing nothing, there's no rush.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunately part of the game when you first start a clinic. The staff kind of just twiddles their thumbs for the first month or two. I mean, it sucks paying them, but welcome to business.
Yeah. So between these two, I feel like I only have capacity for one at a time as far as like expanding either my current practice to another location or starting a men's health practice. Which do you think you would go for?
Personally, because you already have everything worked out and set up for your lactation business, I feel like that you expanding that would be a lot less expensive, would require less energy from you, and you could probably get it profitable a lot quicker.
Okay.
Because you already know it. You have it set up. You have the EMR. You have the insurance credentialing done. The billing process is like you have everything there.
Right.
So what would you have to do to start up, a second practice, so to speak, or to, expand into another town? I mean, what would you have to do?
Just find a location and find a nurse lactation consultant who I trust.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Big whoop.
Yeah.
Right. Like, okay, that should be pretty simple to do, right?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, the nurse, the RN, do they have to be certified to do this, or can you train them?
I would say certified will provide better care. Yeah.
Got it. And how long does it take to become certified to do this?
I think it would be best to find someone who's like already certified.
Sure. I'm
It
talking
takes
about worse.
probably about a year total. It depends on which route you take. So you can be like a non-nurse lactation consultant, and that takes several years. If you're a nurse, like in a postpartum unit, you can do it in like 3 months.
Okay. So then worst case scenario is, let's just say that there isn't a lactation specialist up there looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
So worst case is you can maybe find one in one of these departments and be like, hey, I'll pay for this or whatever. You can get it done and come work for me part-time.
Yep.
Right. That's worst
I think
case.
there's a lot of interest, though. It seems like there's a lot of people that get this certification and then don't really know what to do with it. Like they don't want to start their own practice. It's hard as a nurse only without a provider. And I feel like I'll be able to find somebody. But yeah, that is a good option.
I think you will be able to. I mean, come on. Would you rather work the floor or would you rather be teaching people how to breastfeed? Come on.
Yeah. And I use the same, theories you had of like paying people well and giving them autonomy over their schedule and things. And it's worked out well so far.
No, 100%. That absolutely works. You pay them well and you give them autonomy about their schedule. I love how you summarize it up. That is exactly right. If you allow people to do that, they become awesome employees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everybody's happy to be here, which is really, I feel like, a rare thing for people to say about work nowadays.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, come on. So what sounds easier? That sounds a hell of a lot easier than finding a place, marketing, new website, new EMR, new all of this. I mean, that sounds a lot easier to me.
It does sound a lot easier. I think that the potential with the men's health clinic in this specific place is really high. And I do think
Oh, yeah.
someone will come in the next year or two if I don't. But
Right. So
if
then,
I'm making that decision, I am.
honestly, though, how long was it going to take to expand into another city for the lactation? How long do you really think that would take? A month?
Probably, yeah, a month or two, depending on when I found someone. I think a space would be easy to find. A person will be a little harder.
Well, there you go. I mean, come on, 2 months? Get off your ass. Get started. Come on.
Okay,
Go on. Get it
do
done.
it.
Right.
Just
Get
do
it
it.
done. And then once you do that, now open up the men's health clinic now.
Mhm.
Maybe an awesome commercial space will pop up 2 months from now. Oh, okay, great. I mean, it's crazy how sometimes these things work out.
Right.
So what you could do is, I mean, it sounds like you probably have some extra time during the week.
I
right
do.
now.
Yep.
Right, right. So there's no reason you shouldn't be, doing one or the other right now. So I think that the lowest hanging fruit here with probably the biggest upside is probably to do this lactation thing because you already know how to do it. So just expand it, get that done. And then after a couple months, you're diligently looking for new spaces in this new town for the men's health. As soon as one comes up, sign the lease, get it done. Even if you have to sit on it for a month or two, so be it, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And then go ahead and get started with that. And then at that point, it's going to be which one does Kaleena like better? Where do you want to be putting your efforts and, focus on more? Maybe you like men's health a lot better. Maybe you hate men's health and you hire another nurse practitioner to do the work for you. Who knows?
Hmm.
So you have any questions about that? I mean, I think that's a pretty solid plan.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, I think it does too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other questions? Anything else you want to talk about?
That was it. Yeah.
Cool. Well, congratulations on starting a successful practice. I mean, a lot of people can't say they've done that. You've done that. So, congratulations. You should pat yourself on the back.
Well, thanks. Thanks for all of your virtual encouragement. I feel like when I graduated as an MP, I swore I was never going to open my own practice. It just did not sound like something I wanted to do and a hassle. And then I somehow stumbled upon your sites and you do take one little step and then it turns into another step. And then you kind of catch the entrepreneur bug of wanting to do more and more. And then you realize you kind of like it, even though it's totally different than what you thought you were going to do with your life.
100%. Yep. You said it perfectly. That's exactly what it is. You just do one thing that leads to another thing. And then before you know it, the business is open, right? And it's really not that difficult. I mean, it's a lot of work, but when you really look back and think about it, was it really that hard?
It was more that it's just unknown. I mean, it's definitely not something they teach you in school. It's never, I had a degree in biology. I have no business background. It's just learning things that are learnable. You just have to do it.
Right. You just have to do it. It's exactly right. You don't need an MBA to do this.
Yeah.
You don't need that. That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, cool deal. Well, I like to end the episodes with you asking me a question. Is there a question that you would like to ask me?
What made you start Elite MP? Did you do that after the men's health clinics?
Yes.
Yeah. Where'd you get that idea?
Well, I guess I was talking to other nurse practitioners online on Facebook groups or message boards and that kind of a thing. And I'm just kind of throwing in some statements here and there about, you guys are getting screwed over. Why are you working for $45 an hour, killing yourself? I started a men's health clinic and a medical cannabis clinic, not doing really well. You guys are fools. You got to start your own practice. And so I started doing that. And then, after a couple of months, I'm like, wow, a lot of people need some help with this. So I just started it as a blog, started writing some articles and stuff. And then a friend of mine was like, dude, you should create a course about the men's health clinic. And I created it. And well, here I am. I had no plan it would ever be like this, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing about business. It kind of just leads you to more and more ideas. You have no idea where it's going to take you,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Now you have CME you're offering. I mean.
Right.
Well,
Now we're fully credentialed with the ANCC. We have 30 courses with more coming out. And I mean, it blows my mind, right? I had no idea it would turn out this way, but one thing leads to another. Exactly what you said. You can't.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Well, listen, I appreciate you hopping on this call. And this was a great little episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. You're welcome. Take care.
You too.
All right, bye. All right. I hope everyone enjoyed the episode with Kaleena. Very, very straight to the point episode. I mean, she's doing very, very well. I haven't had anyone that started a lactation or breastfeeding clinic before. And it sounds like she's doing pretty good just after 3 years. I mean, it was kind of a part-time thing. And then she kind of dove into it a little bit more full-time. I mean, she's only working 15 hours a week. So I mean, it's not really full-time. She has other people doing work for her, but just in the last, 4 or 5 months, she's really been able to scale this thing up to making a profit of $5,000 to $10,000 a month for only putting 10 to 15 hours a week into this. I mean, that's really good money. You're not going to make that kind of money working for someone else. You're just not going to. It's pretty much impossible. So she's doing a really, really good job. I think that she should definitely expand what she already knows. I think it'd be foolish not to. I think that's going to be a lower hanging fruit for her. And I think that if she focused on that, she'd probably make pretty good side money doing that and then focus on the men's health clinic. But I guess the main point here I want you to walk away with is don't let one little speed bump, don't let one little thing stop you from starting a business. Don't do it, okay? Don't let one thing. Like, she's been hung up on this office space for her men's health clinic, and it's been preventing her from getting started for months. Don't let one little thing prevent you from starting a business, because there's always a solution. I promise you, there's always a solution to get over that speed bump. I promise you there is. If you say you can't do something, then you are right. You can't do it because you've already made up your mind. But persistence is what separates the people who do things and become successful from the ones that don't. So don't let one thing prevent you from getting started. All right, hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2022 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.